Yo, what's up, guys? Got Jabari here. He's been one of the students in the program for the past, what was it like?
Yeah, not even, bro. Like 3 weeks.
Okay, there you go.
Coming up on
So,
my yeah.
yeah, this guy, he hit me with a text the other day that was crazy. You want to just read out like what you told me, what the win was?
Yeah, bro. So last month, well, we got to start back to why I even hopped in, right? Because I've been a closer like in a space for a little minute now. I'll say about like 4 months, but I would say I was decent before I got in like into John's program. But yeah, I did like 6K in November on my offer. And then in December, that's when it got really, really slow, right? Like I don't know what was going on. I don't know if it was my process. I didn't know like what the hell was going on, why it was so slow. Why I only did like 2K in comps that month. So that's when I was like, okay, maybe I need to more skill set, like invest into something, do something, right? Because the close rate was just very bad that month. So that's when I like found out about John. I saw his stuff on Twitter. I was like, bro, this guy's crushing it, right? He's number two at 7, and he's like young as hell, closing these old ass men on Jeremy's offer. So I'm like, okay. And I was just looking at his stuff, seeing like what he does and things like that. Then I found out that he had like the Discord group, right? So I got into that, paid for that. And then he had like the back end coaching stuff, which I didn't know like how much that was, to be honest. That's why I didn't hop in sooner. But I was like, I just went through the type form. I was like, fuck it, bro, because these deals weren't closing. So I was like, let me just get in, bro, see what it is. So I went in, filled in the type form. Not gonna disclose the amount, but I was like, okay, like I just need to do it, because if I don't, then I'm just gonna stop, like not be closing deals. So yeah. So fast forward now, 3 months later, bro. This month I did 6K in comms, on track to finish with at least 8K, and that's coming from like 2K the last month on my offer. So
3 weeks
it's like,
later,
yeah, 3 weeks later.
when you hit that down month, and even before that,
hmm
what challenges were like really coming up for you when
I
you're
would,
when you're selling?
yeah, I would say the main thing was like I don't feel like I was building a big enough gap and building enough urgency for the prospect to
Mm,
buy, which is why at the end of the call I was getting certain objections, not being able to overcome them, because I just felt like it wasn't necessarily my objection handling skills, but I would say it was just me like not building enough urgency in the current state, which is what
yeah.
I'm like what more do I need to do in current state?
Yeah, that's a huge problem that people have in sales is like they get all these objections and then they start looking on YouTube and stuff of like, how do I handle all these different objections? It's like, bro, those aren't really supposed to be there.
hmm
It means you did something wrong, right? Like
Exactly.
what objections were kind of the main ones that you were hearing towards the end?
Yeah, man. It was just the one that was killing me the most was fear money, bro. Like fear money was the main one I would get, and I
Yeah,
didn't know how to overcome that with the fear money. I would
yeah,
say the first thing is just asking like not the same questions that every other salesperson asks, right? Like for example, like what are you struggling with? Things like that. Like people can see through that, and you don't really get actual like genuine answer from that. They give you like a knee jerk
yeah.
surface level answer. So just asking questions in a different way, right, to really get the
Mhm.
answers that we want, which is a lot deeper than what they were giving me before. And then also the pre-handling stage, right? Making sure that, I really hone in. I think it was one of the biggest ones, because if you can figure out why somebody didn't do something before, and just like have a conversation around it, and like
Yeah.
change their perspective on it, then at the end of the call, it's gonna be a lot easy for you if they still have objections, because they still might come up. That's just, humans. But it's gonna be a lot easier to handle it when you guys already had a conversation about it earlier, right? Or it might not even come up at all. So
Yeah,
those are
absolutely,
the two
bro.
main things. Yeah.
That's another huge thing. People are
Yeah.
so like if someone didn't buy in the past, it's going to be for the exact same reason they don't buy right now. So, and
hmm
like Tony Robbins talks about saying, he talks about like deframing, pre-framing, reframing. And it's much easier to pre-frame someone into like priming them to making a buying decision rather than reframing them. Right. So like if I was talking to like a fat person and I wanted them to lose weight because I thought they were going to like have heart troubles or something, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be like, hey man, you need to lose weight. You're fat. I would prime them and pre-frame them. I just saw this person that I haven't seen in like 20 years, and they lost so much weight. Told me that they were dealing with like these like heart complications when they got
Mhm.
like severely overweight, and it was at that point they realized like they needed to do something. Have
Exactly.
you ever like looked into something like that? And at that point, the person's pre-framed and primed to like make the change, right? So the same exact thing. So that's how I got it, bro. I don't even know if I told you that. It's like I took that from Tony Robbins. Oh yeah, yeah. So let's say like day one. you invested into yourself. How soon after that were you starting to see results?
Man, I would say so. I would say the first couple of days was just me like learning the new scripting and just everything because
Yeah.
I was doing things like I just went cold turkey, bro. I wasn't like I'm not gonna like
Yeah.
go half step with it. I'm gonna go all in with it. You know what I mean with the new scripting because that's the best way to learn it, right? Not just like easing it in, but like just going cold turkey. So the first like couple days was kind of rocky because like I was just like literally learning the script, right? So I was just getting familiar with it. I would say about like a week later, that's when I got the script like decently memorized where I can competently deliver it. And then that's when I started like seeing a change and started closing more deals like that week.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Jabari actually listened to me and he did I told him how to implement it, the best way to do it. And I told him all the best practices that like helped me out right when I started. And I would bet that that's the reason why you took off so hard, is
Bro,
because like you did those things.
writing it down every morning, every day
Yeah.
before I go to sleep. I had like flashcards of each part of the scripting, like literally
Yeah.
flashcards of all of it. So yeah, it's
1,000%.
you just gotta apply yourself and do it. Yeah.
Hmm. And what would like to the people out there who are on the fence, they're thinking maybe I want to figure everything out on my own, or they're thinking I really don't feel like spending money into my skills. What do you say to them?
Yeah. Man, it's really hard for me to even have that mindset because like I've never been that type of guy. But it's just like to me what it came down to was like what's really like more risky, right? For me, right? Because before I even got into sales space, that's literally like one of the objection lines. But like before I even got into sales space, bro, I was like I knew college wasn't for me. I knew I wasn't going to take the corporate route. I knew a 9 to 5 wasn't for me. Like I just knew that wasn't for me, but I didn't know what I was going to do. Right. So I failed at a couple business models, SMMA, ecom, whatever that. And then like ultimately, like I was working at Home Depot and like I was on like a sales call with a company. I'm not going to name the name, but it was another sales program, whatever. And I got dropped like 5K. Right. So pretty much I'm like, oh shit, like that's crazy. You know what I mean? Because I didn't even have that my name to even be able to like invest it. But I mean, what it came down to was like if I do it by myself, right, I may or may not get there as quickly as I want to, right? And I had a lot of like urgency to actually like want to get there to my goals as quickly as possible because of like personal things in my life that I don't want to mention, but things that I needed to start making money from it, right? So I was just like I did it because it was like if I don't do it, then the same thing is going to be happening. But if I do it, who's to say I can't get to the next level, right? So that's what it is for me.
1,000%, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, and along the lines of congruency too, it's like how can you as a salesperson go and ask your prospects for money every single day, and
Mhm.
then you sit there and tell yourself that you're not going to invest in your skills? Like
Yeah.
that's one of the craziest things I've ever seen in sales is like people who genuinely ask people for money every single day, and they'll never just fork up the investment themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing, right? Being able to like stay congruent because you can't handle objections with somebody if you never handle your own objections in your head, right? It just doesn't work like that. You won't have conviction behind it, and the prospect behind the screen, they won't believe you. You won't believe in yourself. It's just like you're doing a disservice to everybody on
Yeah,
the call at that point.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then last question though, like how much more fun and how much easier is it to pre-frame someone and pre-handle them rather than just like sitting there and beating your head against the wall at the end of the call?
Yeah, it's a lot more easier. Like I even texted you this, like it's so much smoother on these calls, like because you're having like the conversation before it even comes up, right? I mean, after
Hmm.
price drop, you may get it, like it does happen, right? It does happen, but it's a lot more smoother because you've already like had the conversation about it, and
Yeah,
nine times out of 10, if they don't do something like prior for a certain type of reason, that's going to be the same reason why they don't do it again. You know what I mean? So just having that conversation and being able to like smooth things out for an easy layup. Like I'm just having like a lot more fun on these calls, to be honest. Like just being
yeah,
myself, chatting it up. Like, yeah, I'm not even trying to be like a salesperson anymore. I'm just trying to like have a conversation with people, bro. At the end of the
yeah.
day, that's where I'm at
Thousand
now.
percent, bro.
Yeah,
1,000%. Well, thank you, bro. You want to shout out your socials, anything like that? Where can people find you?
yeah. I mean, you can find me on IG. It's Stolo STOLO.OTB. And then on Twitter, I post stuff on Twitter. Network with people. So it's the same thing, Stolo 4x'd.otb. Follow me on those, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Appreciate
Mhm.
you for coming on, bro.
Alrighty, bro.